Hello magical hands, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jessica, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today's video I'll be showing you guys how I made a wrap dress, and if you're a beginner, I think this video is friendly enough. So let's get right into this video. We'll start drafting the back piece first. Fold your pattern paper into two before you start drafting. Mark your shoulder measurements, divide by 2 on the top line. On that point, mark 1 inch below. Connect as seen to create the slanted shoulder. Right from that point, mark down your armhole measurement divided by 2. Make sure it is sitting on the same point where the shoulder measurement is sitting. So confirm you've marked it on the right spot. Connect with a straight line as seen and extend to the right side. Find the midpoint of the armhole, which is 4 inches. On that point, curve to the base of the armhole line. This is the back armhole curve, which is usually different from the front armhole curve. But since we are cutting the back piece, we'll continue like this. Mark from your shoulder to your bust point measurement. Make a straight line across that point. Indicate BP for bust point. Mark from your shoulder to your under bust measurement. Draw a straight line across that point and indicate UB for under bust. Mark from your shoulder to your half length and make a straight line on that point and indicate HL for half length. Mark the neck width of the dress. I'll use 4 inches for the neck width. For the depth, I marked 1.5 inch. Use the curved side of your ruler to connect at seam. Now start marking our round bodice measurements. Divide all your round bodice measurement by 4 and mark on the points as seen. Add only 1 inch for sewing allowance. You can add 2 or more if you want, but make sure to sew up all your allowance while sewing up. I have my actual measurement and the 1 inch for sewing allowance as indicated. Now you can go ahead to cut out the excess. Fold your fabric into 2 and place the folded side of your pattern paper on the folded side of the fabric. Go ahead and cut out your back piece on the fabric. Now proceed to the front pattern. On the midpoint of the armhole, go in by half an inch and create a new armhole curve. This is going to make the front armhole more defined than the back piece, which is usually the major difference between the front armhole and the back armhole. Now the armhole is more defined. Open up your pattern paper. Define the midpoint line, which is the folded line. Now that the midpoint line is defined, we're going to mark the neck depth of the front piece on the midpoint line. Make sure to place your tape from the top part of the shoulder line. Connect the points as seen. On the left side, the base of the top, mark upwards 2.5 inches. Connect that point to meet the midpoint as seen. Now go ahead to cut out the other side that will not be needed. Now I place this on my fabric. I'll be cutting the front piece in 2 separate pieces. We cut the back on fold, but we'll be cutting the front in 2 separate pieces, just as you can see. After cutting the front piece, place the front and the back piece on each other, right face facing the right face. and sew up the side seams. Sew up the 1 inch you added for allowance. If you added 2 inches for allowance, this is the time to sew it out. After sewing, I went ahead to hem round the neck width and also to the overlapping sides of this. Instead of going ahead to fold in a triangular form as seen and then cutting the waist and then the base, what I did was to fold into two. So by the time you fold into two and you fold in a triangular form, you'll be able to get both the front and back piece at once because there will be no zipper allowance or side seams to the flare. So this way I can save more fabric and I have both the front and back piece at once. I'll go ahead and mark my waist measurement here, and then I'll mark the full length of this. I can go ahead now to cut out the parts that will not be needed. Now you can see the flare is full, it is complete, it is a complete flare. So this is going to, because the back was cut on fold, this will then be attached to the back and this is going to be overlapped together. Mark round what you have on the width of the half length. So take your time to place your tape and mark what you have because that will enable us to cut out the flare of the lower bodice. I have 55.5 inches as seen. I'll go ahead and divide that 55.5 by 4 and it gives me some 14, close to 14 inches thereabout. But because of the way I placed my fabric, I might not be able to get exactly the 54 inches after I cut this because I didn't fold everything exactly on a triangular form, which is because I did not have enough fabric. Also, I didn't want this to have too much of flare. I just didn't want to cut the lower body straight. That is why I had to fold it in a triangular form. So you can see that the other part of the fabric is not on fold. So that is going to reduce my measurement, but it doesn't matter because that part is going to be inside. Now I'll mark the full length of the skirts, which I will mark 44 inches for the full length all round. For the parts that the fabric was not enough for, we can go ahead to cut out new fabric to attach to it and then make sure to iron this properly. But at the end of the day, I didn't even do any of that because those sides were the opening sides and it actually looked like it's style. So now we're going to attach the bodies to this. We're going to attach as seen and definitely one side is going to have less fabric. I've sewed it up together and this is what it looks like. You can see the parts that the fabric was not enough for, which I mentioned it was because of the way I folded the fabric. And I told you that side will be overlapped in, so it does not matter at all. So this is how the dress is going to be layered together. Now I'm going to cut 2 long straps. I'll sew 1/2 inch. After sewing, I'll trim out the allowance. Then I'll flip this over to the right side. Attach both straps to each ends of the top part of the bodice. Attach to it as indicated. Now I cut a square of 6 inches all round. That's 2 fabrics, and then I will fold as seen to cut out my sleeve. After I folded it up like this, from the top part I marked 2.5 inches all round. I would have cut a bigger sleeve, but I didn't have enough fabric, so I'll be working with this small one. And also I did not hem the sleeve because it was not enough, so I took it to the weavers to have it weaved. After cutting that up, I'm going to fold it properly now. Now I'm going to curve the ends. I'll mark 6 inches all around and cut to have a perfect circle. It was only while I was editing that I realized that the sun cast was too much, and it also made this part not too clear. Once I open it up, I'll have something looking like this. So I remove the second one from inside and fold it up as seen. So this is how it will be attached to the shoulders, to the armhole of the bodice. This is how it will be attached to give a little flare. Now I'll go over to my sewing machine to take my time to attach this to the bodice. After attaching the sleeve, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to weave the ends of the sleeve because, like I mentioned, it's small and I don't want to hem that. So now I'm going to create a space for the ropes to pass through where I will be tying it through. If you want, you can tie by the sides, and if you want, you can leave it tied at the back. So I have to create a space for this second rope to pass through. Right on that same line, I will make an opening there. Make sure to tack the ends so that it doesn't loosen up, and then I'll pass my rope through there. Also, this is what the flare looks like I mentioned. This is what it looks like. I didn't want it to be very full, and I love the result I got. This is what the back is looking like as well. And also the front piece that I told you guys that we had shortage of fabric, I later didn't even add up to it. I will just iron this up. This is the result of the tutorial. At the end, I actually went on to reduce the length of the dress, and I am in love. So guys, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and bye.